Everything just fell perfectly into place for the Los Angeles Lakers following a huge update surrounding one particular player. Things have not only fallen into place for Rob Pelinka, but a new report has dropped revealing some big insight into his next move. We're going to break down exactly what that is, discuss what this means going forward, as well as a few other updates as Summer League continues to progress and Rob Pelinka continues to peruse the market for both free agents and trades. But before we get into it all, folks, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys again for your continued support over here as we're on the road to 25,000 subscribers and the big goal of 30,000 subscribers. You guys have been absolute beasts. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today, and some new reports have dropped revealing that things have fallen perfectly into place surrounding one particular player and the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, Summer League is going on. Dalton Knecht's disappointing a little bit. We're seeing some good things out of LeBron James, but this Lakers team still needs work. There's work to be done, and Rob Pelinka is at the forefront of that. And we look at the team they have now. They have some work to do here, but you can see right here, some big news came out yesterday into this morning, into this afternoon as well. The Hornets will be waiving Josh Okogie after attempting to find a trade before his contract guarantee date today. Okogie instantly becomes one of the best wing defenders available in unrestricted free agency, who will only command a veteran's minimum salary. So folks, things have fallen perfectly into place because the Hornets, obviously, I believe they acquired Josh Okogie, and then since then have been trying to basically this offseason move on from him in a trade. And clearly no one wanted Okogie because, he's an interesting player. Now, I think he's a very, very useful asset. But what this all means is he is now going to be waived, which means the Lakers can now acquire him for the veterans minimum if they see fit. And for a team that desperately needs a point of attack defender, this now becomes a very intriguing option. And reports have come out that the Lakers are at the forefront of the pack here to acquire Josh Okogie. Now, you can see here, get him please, Lakers. Everybody has started to speak out on the fact that he makes a lot of sense for this team. And if you're unfamiliar with his game, he is an extremely good defender, one of the best perimeter and point of attack defenders in basketball. And it's almost poetic that the Lakers will have an opportunity now to fix a lot of the holes, at least the temporary holes they have in their roster via waiving, other teams waiving players and, buyouts and all those different things. But about Josh Okogie, let's look at it. Now, of course, he played with Phoenix for a lot of his, career. He played with the Minnesota Timberwolves for a while there. And of course, last season, he averaged 8.9 points a game with the Charlotte Hornets. And for a while, he, was a top 10 rookie of the year, voting. He's just a very, very good defender. He obviously came into the league with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the biggest problem with him will be his shooting. He's had some, really bad years the first 4 years, and then he started to have some decent, stretches last year, especially with the Phoenix Suns. And it makes things extremely intriguing. And for a team now that you look at their starting five. That starting five, at least as at this point, is locked in. Andrew Wiggins, according to multiple reports, is not going to get traded. He is sticking with the Miami Heat, which means the dream, or at least the goal of a Rui Hachimura for Andrew Wiggins swap, at least for now, is going to be put to rest. And ultimately, it seems like they're going to be rocking with this starting five. You have to immediately pivot to the bench. And Dalton Knecht hasn't impressed in the Summer League. Bronny James has. Could see a real world here where Bronny James gets some meaningful minutes this season as a bench defender. But other than that, there's not much scoring upside or really defensive upside on the bench. You have Jake LaRavia. That's a guy you're going to hope averages 10 to 12 points a game. Maybe Gabe Vincent will be able, if he doesn't get traded, to come back and have a bounce back year. But for Josh Okogie, he's not getting he's not going to be an offensive upgrade by any means. And you could argue, and there is people who do argue, that he's basically just Jared Vanderbilt 2.0. Now, I would argue that I think, especially given, what this team needs, I would be more willing, I think, to give Okogie a chance here rather than Jared Vanderbilt. We've seen Josh Okogie last year with Phoenix in 25 games, shot 38% from three. That's obviously going to be the turning point. Last year, he shot 34.8% from three. If Jared Vanderbilt was a 32% three-point shooter, a 34% three-point shooter, like slightly below league average, he'd be a very good player for the Lakers. Problem is, he's in the 20s. He cannot shoot the ball. He has no offensive bag. Whereas with Josh Okogie, at least he's young and he can kind of figure it out, right? And we've seen the Lakers. This article from, I believe, 2 years ago when I found it. The Lakers be linked to, Josh Okogie for a while. This was from 2022, I believe it was. And of course, this is when Okogie was 24. The Lakers were linked to him for a while now. So there's clearly been and has been mutual interest. And there's been a lot of talks about, following this coming out, that the Lakers are the perfect fit for him because they need a defender. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Ultimately, is he just another version of Jared Vanderbilt? It's very possible. Will he be able to actually put them over the top? I'm definitely not saying that. But for a team that needs role players, getting another guy on a veteran's minimum who has shown the ability in the past to be A, an elite defender, but B, an okay shooter. I mean, again, with the Hornets, albeit in an increased role, very good. 9 points a game, 2 steals a game, 3 rebounds, 32% from 3, which isn't great, but it might just be good enough for this team. And there was one of the Lakers Reddit thread, and there was some talks about Josh Okogie and how the fit is, because I want to see what you guys think as well in the comment section. You can see here, I'd take him over Smart, elite defender, and only 26, but someone else responded, it's duplicative with Vando, and then Okogie almost has no offensive utility. He can hit shots at a 35% clip, but teams will absolutely leave him open, and he never takes shots at volume. I would still take him if he's available, but Smart is also a good option because while wild, he has more offensive upside than Josh or Vando. So I would prefer Josh Okogie over Jared Vanderbilt because of that shooting upside. Like, he's just a better shooter. However, I would prefer Marcus Smart over both of them because of what he mentions here. I agree with him. Stanley, just because of the offensive, upside and the facilitating upside, because I don't know exactly what we're going to get from Gabe Vincent. Will Marcus Smart be able to slide into that backup point guard role? There's a lot of question marks right now surrounding this team. So give me both of them. Like, if both of them get bought out, Okogie will be getting bought out. And of course, there will be a lot of teams interested in acquiring him. I would love to see it. I think it makes all the sense in the world. And I'm also ultimately just excited to see what Rob Pelinka ends up doing with this squad, because there's a lot of moving pieces around right now that, people are upset. People are, furious at Rob Pelinka. You can see this tweet here, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this as well. A poll by Trevor Lane. So far, the Lakers have brought in DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, Edu Thiero, and they lost Dorian Finney-Smith, Markieff Morris, and Alex Len. Have they improved, or have they gotten worse, or have they stayed the same? Let me know in the comment section which of this you think it is. Of course, you can see here, stayed the same. They got better. They got worse. It says I voted for stayed the same, but I just clicked on a random one to see the results. I would definitely say they got better. I mean, they improved. They have an actual starting center now with DeAndre Ayton, which they didn't have last year. They kept Jackson Hayes. He's just moved to the backup position, so there's a much better much better front court. They lost Dorian Finney-Smith, which is a problem, but they still have Rui Hachimura, and the bench basically remains the same. The only difference is because they have an actual center now, you can move one of those guys to the bench, but of course Dorian Finney-Smith left, so that's kind of a null situation. So very intriguing. Let me know down below how your current feeling is, and what your current feeling is rather on the Lakers offseason, and do you want to see them pursue Josh Okogie? A couple other things before I wrap up here. I just want to go over the Summer League game and some things that went on there. Of course, they played yesterday. Looking at the way that, Darius Bazley didn't have a great game yesterday. Bronny James the way that Bronny James and Cole Swider have been playing. Cole Swider looks like an actual rotation piece for an NBA team. I would not be surprised. You can see the bottom there. I cannot be surprised, I would not be surprised if they take him as well. Like, he's such a good shooter, and this team needs offense off of the bench. Is he a little bit counterproductive with Jake LaRavia basically playing the same position, like a small ball for a pretty big three? Maybe. Bronny James, on the other hand, playing really, really good basketball, looks more comfortable than ever. I think it's going to be exciting to see what actually happens, and Dalton Knecht being a -13 with 8 and 7 isn't exactly what you want to see. This team's going to be forced into a lot of decisions, folks, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation to have about the future of a lot of these guys, whether that's Koloko, Swider, how Bronny James will factor in, Dalton Knecht, and of course, Darius Bazley. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Cheers.